Wiltshire, being heavily intertwined with the defense industry, has a legacy of mind control experimentation. The obvious example being the LSD experiments carried out at Porton-Down laboratories during the Cold War. Indeed, experiments continue in the underground facilities at Porton-Down and include testing the effects of various biological and chemical weapons on test subjects by usually homeless people from America and Russia transported to Porton-Down laboratories. Indeed, there is an agreement between the British Secret Intelligence Service, i.e. MI6, and various factions of the Chechen and Russian mobs regarding the transportation of Russian homeless and mental patients for the experimentation in Britain. Indeed, the Russian state wishes to utilize these individuals for their own experimentation, so they're not too pleased with the Chechen and Russian mob elements that are transporting the Russian mental patients and homeless to such facilities as the Porton Down underground laboratory complex and the Devizes Roundway facility. Indeed, the Roundway facility in Devizes contains an enormous catacomb system that is used for experimentation on Russian mental patients, British homeless, and American homeless. And this includes radiation experiments and various mind control techniques to attempt to coordinate the mind of the individual. Indeed, all that pass through the Roundway experiment are microchipped at some point. Indeed, I believe I was originally microchipped before my designation as TF-84 as part of the Roundway experiment. Indeed, I believe that I was microchipped at least as early as Grenville Lodge, if not earlier, so it's interesting to consider. Indeed, I'm technically a microchip slave of the intelligence services of the United Kingdom, so it's interesting to consider this. Indeed, I was utilized as a schizophrenic super spy by MI6 in my early days after Grenville Lodge, operating in several locations in Eastern Europe as a hypno-programmed courier and a hypno-programmed assassin for the Secret Intelligence Services, i.e. MI6. Indeed, I was under the personal control of Sir John Sawers, who I knew as James A. Pritchard, and Sir Robert Gascoigne Cecil, who I knew as Mark Hodge. Indeed, my original main programmer was an operative called Gary P. Wyatt. However, I have yet to find out his real name. Indeed, I believe Gary P. Wyatt is connected with a network I know as the Lighthouse, who wished to lobotomize me on the direct orders of Sir Robert Gascoigne Cecil, i.e. the secret head of MI6, who has a personal interest in my case. Indeed, I was utilized as a schizophrenic super spy by the British intelligence services as part of a project called Project Aniseed, which was originally set up in the 1950s and was supposedly discontinued in the 1970s, yet was still going on in 2012 when I was incorporated into the program, and is still going on today. Indeed, Project Aniseed has a branch operating in the catacombs beneath Devizes. Indeed, there is a schizophrenic super spy program being coordinated there. Also, psychic warfare programs. Indeed, I was utilized as a remote viewer spying on the Vladimirovka Air Base in Astrakhan Oblast. Indeed, I believe I have been there, but it may have just been an astral visit, so I'm not entirely sure. Indeed, due to my amnesia and memory loss that was inculcated in me by Professors Julian Lovelock and Professor John Drew, operatives of the Monks of Mendicant Hall at the University of Buckingham, i.e. Grenville Lodge, I'm not entirely sure what is real and what is not, and I cannot distinguish between my remote viewing memories and real life. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. I have vivid memories of being in the GRU complex at Vladimirovka in Astrakhan Oblast in Russia. However, I may not have been there at all. I may have been in a secret facility run by the Maitland's family in Belgrade, operating a psychic spying program on Vladimirovka. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. This latter suggestion seems more likely to be truer to form, but it's all very, very interesting indeed. I was utilized in several psychic warfare programs being run by the British and US intelligence services against the Russian state and Russian military intelligence capacities. So it's all very interesting to consider. There are genuine conflicts between the West and the Soviets continuing to this day. So it's all very interesting to consider, despite various cryptocracies of both powers often operating in alignment, there are genuine conflicts between the West and Soviet Russia. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. There are networks of GRU operatives handling Faith of Ishmael terrorists in the United Kingdom for utilizations as part of a false flag operation being run by the Western intelligence services to attempt to cause a conflagration in the United Kingdom where the British population will massacre the Faith of Ishmael and a police state can be introduced. Indeed, as I stated before, the British police are being trained by Mossad counter-terror experts. And indeed, a lot of this counter-terror is going to be used against the British population. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, returning to the Roundway experiment, the Roundway experiment began in 1947 and was sworn into effect by Otto Niemeyer, Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, and one of those instrumental in the formation of the National Association for Mental Health, which is now known as the National Institute for Mental Health, which was originally a synthesis between Tavistock psychiatrists and emigre Nazi psychiatrists who had operated psychological warfare programs and mind control experimentation in the concentration camps during the Hitler regime, and were also responsible for the Tiergartenstrasse 4 program, i.e. the T4 program that resulted in the mass murder of 92% or 93% even of paranoid schizophrenics in the Third Reich. So it's interesting to consider that these mental hygiene movements, which they were basically, were created as part of an ongoing Nazi agenda to promote eugenicism and basically marginalize and isolate the paranoid schizophrenic population for utilization in a series of secretive tests, i.e. such operations as the Roundway experiment and various projects of the MINDGATE program, which was originally an MI6 operation, but later came to include defense intelligence, i.e. the British military intelligence capacity as overall operatives involved in the rolling out of the MINDGATE program, which continues to this day and is very much part of the fabric of Wiltshire. So it's interesting to consider, indeed, Wiltshire is a hotbed for mind control experimentation, not to mention the activity of suspicious craft, which are probably prototypes being handled by defense intelligence. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed. Defense intelligence has a network of spooks, are very shady and are operating their own organ harvesting networks here in Warminster through the C.J. Robbins Butcher Shop, which is itself an appendage of Wyvern Lodge number 8620. Indeed, C.J. Robbins Butcher Shop and Wyvern Lodge number 8620 are directly intertwined with the Warminster military intelligence capacity, i.e. the spooks of defense intelligence who are operating not only an organ harvesting network here, but also drug trafficking from the Middle East to Wiltshire and various other functions, such as a prostitution ring of Vietnamese women and a child prostitution and kiddie porn circuit operated through the town hall of Warminster and the mayor, Councillor Jack Jones. So it's interesting to consider how all of this interconnects, especially in a spooky town such as Warminster, which is run by Defence Intelligence and Defence Industrial Security Command, who are the intelligence branch of the munitions makers. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, Warminster is very much a spooks town. And indeed, the Warminster military intelligence capacity, i.e. Defence Intelligence, are continuing to carry out a mind control experiment on me, in a similar vein to the 1960s film The Prisoner, to attempt to work me out and see whether or not I am a Russian agent, which is not the case. I'm just a small town lunatic who has been experimented on by the British intelligence services and the British police, and so is naturally embittered against the British intelligence community and the British police. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, why would the Russians have any interests in exposing Device's police? They wouldn't, as Russian elites are one of the main clients of the organ harvesting circuit being run through Walter Rose and Sons butcher shop by MI6. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the Walter Rose and Sons butcher shop circuit does seem to be overseen in the top level by MI6, whereas the C.J. Robbins butcher shop organ harvesting syndicate, whose victims are mainly UK homeless, is run by Defence Intelligence, i.e. the Warminster military intelligence capacity. Indeed, there isn't much of a drug scene in the town of Warminster, and indeed this is because the spooks of the Warminster military intelligence capacity wish to create a clean image to the population to cover up for their international narcotics trafficking, which brings them a net profit of £300 billion a year through the sales of synthetics, crack, and cannabis. So it's all very interesting to consider that Defence Intelligence are operating these schemes. Indeed, Defence Intelligence are also running their own mind control experimentation parallel to the Roundway experiment. Indeed, this mind control experimentation of Defence Intelligence also comes under the designation MINDGATE, and is basically part of the overall MI6 mind control project, which is so prevalent in the United Kingdom. Indeed, the characteristics of this mind control experimentation also involve satanic ritual abuse of children, which is carried out at Warminster military base in the night time. Indeed, these children are taken by their parents to Warminster military base in the night time and are abused and then implanted with screen memories, so that afterwards they have no real memory or focus on the trauma that has been inflicted on them, which makes them ideal candidates for mind control experimentation via the MindGate program being operated by Warminster military intelligence spooks, i.e. Defence Intelligence Networks, coordinated by Anthony Graham, one of the chief spooks operating out of Warminster military base. So it's all very interesting to consider how all of this interlinks. Indeed, this is the legacy of mind control experimentation in Wiltshire, and of course interconnects with the Ministry of Defence mind control operations at the Portendown laboratories in the underground complex there. Indeed, it's interesting to note, as a terminal test subject that I am of the British intelligence services in an ongoing experiment. Indeed, I'm also a targeted individual, having been attacked by satellite weaponry and irradiated for 6 years, as well as being the victim of voice-to-skull technology being beamed at me by operatives of Device's police, who are themselves operating in conjunction with dictates from the British Security Services, i.e. MI5, and the Ministry of Defence, who basically run this county. So it's all very interesting to consider that my targeting serves a special purpose, whereby I can be miscast as a Russian agent, which seems to be the plan of the British intelligence services, the British security services, and the British police. Indeed, all of these networks wish to cast me as a Russian agent, spreading disinformation about devices. Indeed, it's interesting to consider this. Indeed, I am not spreading misinformation about devices. I am telling the truth about the Roundway experiment and the deaths of the 76 mental patients by devices residents who were attempting to expose the devices Roundway Asylum MINDGATE mind control programs and a series of syndicates and child rape networks operating in the town. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the devices reputation seems to be something that the British Secret Intelligence Service, i.e. MI6, wish to protect from any exposure due to the nature of the operations of the devices lobby, i.e. very powerful men within the British elite who visit devices to commit infanticide. So it's interesting to consider what I am up against basically here. Indeed, I am up against some very powerful networks and some very powerful individuals regarding my exposures of the Roundway experiment. So it's interesting to consider. Indeed, I'm yet to encounter any serious whistleblowers of the Roundway experiment. Indeed, it's all very strange to consider what kind of place Wiltshire really is. Indeed, Wiltshire contains some of the worst occult ritual child rape and ritual sacrifice rings in the world, located in the manor houses dotted about the countryside and the druid groves, who regularly sacrifice babies and read their entrails in the forests and woodlands of Wiltshire. So it's all very interesting to consider. This is very much druid country. Indeed, the ancient order of druids, i.e. Freemasons, are operative for one stated goal: the transformation of British society into an arcane druid society. So it's interesting to consider. A lot of this will involve the ritual sacrifice of Faith of Ishmael adherents, leading to an end of days scenario whereby a police state is erected. So it's all very interesting. All of these Masonic druidic elements are working together with the British intelligence services, funded by narcotics trafficking and organ harvesting operations. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, these black operations fund the black budget for the Secret Intelligence Service, which is then utilized for the erection of the British intelligence's police state. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, this will involve the creation of a hive mind, as explained by H.G. Wells, the British intelligence operative, Fabian socialist and eugenicist. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, the hive mind will take the form of a collective consciousness which will be dominated by druidic concepts as espoused by Freemasonic orders. So it's all very interesting to consider how all of this interlinks and what this has to do with Wiltshire mind control experimentation. Indeed, a lot of the experimentation on schizophrenics has to do with the attempt to develop a hive mind in the schizophrenic psyche. And indeed, the schizophrenic psyche is naturally inclined to resist the implementation of a hive mind due to the creativity of thought of the paranoid schizophrenic. And indeed, as I stated before, the paranoid schizophrenics are in a cosmic conflict with Freemasons. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, a lot of the intelligence community's activity regarding the splitting of the schizophrenic mind and the attempts to utilize the schizophrenic mind for mind control experimentation has to do with the fact that The majority of British intelligence operatives and shrinks are themselves Freemasons, and therefore wish to denigrate and persecute the paranoid schizophrenic as part of the cosmic conflict between the satanic energies and the schizophrenic cosmic life force. So it's all very, very interesting to consider what exactly is going on here in Wiltshire with the prevalence of mind control experimentation as taking place in Warminster. Indeed, there is mind control experimentation that takes place in the catacombs beneath C.J. Robbins' butcher's shop, which interestingly is a shared catacomb with the Wyvern Lodge number 8620's Masonic Hall. So it's all very interesting indeed. There are various test subjects located in those catacombs who are kidnapped homeless people and kidnapped children from the streets of the UK. So it's all very interesting to consider what exactly is going on underground in Devizes, Porton Down, and Warminster. It's really quite disturbing and really strange to consider that some places where you walk, there are test subjects chained up underground beneath your feet. So it's all very interesting to consider and all very awful indeed. I'm going to leave it there now.